Okay, so yesterday I went to McDonald's to order a vanilla cone, and as usual, the ice cream machine is broken, which made me remember a comment that I got on one of my videos a long time ago. So I spent probably 2 hours scrolling through my old comments, and I finally found it, this 3-year-old comment that says, "Conspiracy theory idea, why is the McDonald's ice cream machine always broken?" So I decided to investigate. Now, before you all say, "But James, there's already a bunch of videos covering this topic," I am aware that there is already a bunch of videos covering this topic. However, I've seen all these videos, and they're all extremely lazy. They try to claim that the machine's being broken is because of a bunch of corporate greed and stock prices. They don't even do any real research to try and prove it. Now, if you're wondering, this situation is such a big deal that somebody actually made a website called McBroken that in real time shows you which machines are broken across the country. And all the red dots represent currently broken machines. So it's obviously a huge problem. Anyway, so I start reading articles about these machines, and I find out that one of the reasons why these machines are always breaking down is because they have 20 variously sized O-rings that are crucial to the machine's function. And if one of those rings isn't working, the whole machine doesn't work. Well, that got me thinking, 20 rings, where have I heard 20 rings before? Well, it just so happens that in Lord of the Rings, there are exactly 20 rings. What a coincidence. So I look into Lord of the Rings a little bit more, and I come across this change.org petition saying that for the Lord of the Rings 20th anniversary, McDonald's should offer a
second breakfast.
And it currently has exactly 20 signatures on it. So clearly change.org is involved in the conspiracy. Well, then I come across this article accusing change.org of being a deceitful company, and I find out that the guy that created change.org is a guy named Ben Rattray, but I noticed that in brackets it says chair, and I thought, well, what does that mean? Is it possible that this man is some sort of half-human, half-chair hybrid? Why does it say that? Well, after a couple of months of research on that, I find out that chair is just referring to like the chair of the company, and he's just a regular human. However, it turns out that change.org was created February 7th, 2007. So I look further into that date, and it turns out on that exact date, there was an article posted talking about Redbox DVD rental kiosks and how a ton of them have been put into McDonald's locations. Well, then it turns out that Redbox has a customer service phone number, which is 855-733-2695. So I look into the company that makes McDonald's ice cream machines, and it's a company called Taylor, and they also have an 800 customer service phone line, which is 800-255-0626. So I take the Redbox customer service phone number and I divide it by the Taylor customer service phone line number, and according to my sources at calculator.com, it gives you 1.069. So then I thought, what does this number mean? Well, I find this article talking about how ethanol production has dropped from 1.046 million barrels per day down to the previous figure of 1.069. So I do some research into why that happened, and it turns out that at that exact time, McDonald's halted the use of some of its antibiotics in its beef, which caused the decline. Well, then I thought, what does the word antibiotics have to do with this? So I mix that word around, and I'm able to spell Titanic bios. So I decide to look into the bios of all the people that died on the Titanic, and it turns out there's a ton of people named Margaret who were on the Titanic, but oddly enough, every single one of them survived the disaster. So what did these Margarets know that no one else did? So I look further into the name Margaret, and it turns out that a person named Margaret was the person who invented soft serve ice cream, and her name was Margaret Thatcher. Well, there's actually a movie about Margaret Thatcher, played by Meryl Streep, called The Iron Lady. And I thought, okay, well, if she's the Iron Lady, then who is the Iron Man? And that is, of course, Robert Downey Jr. So I do a quick search of Robert Downey Jr., and one of the first things that comes up is this meme I find, which is a picture of him rolling his eyes, and it says, "The face you make when McDonald's says their ice cream machines are broken for the 3rd time in a row." So at this point, I knew that I was in deep and onto something serious. So I start reading about Robert Downey Jr., and it turns out that he is very good friends with actor Rami Malek. So I start researching the name Malek, and it turns out there's a company called Salt and Straw, which is a food company, which was launched in 2011 by cousins Kim and Tyler Malek. Now, I knew this was strange because they're both from Portland, Oregon, and from what I understand, people from Portland, Oregon eat their hot dogs sideways. And more importantly, they recently launched a limited edition Lord of the Rings ice cream. And so what I believe is happening is that the psychopaths at the Salt and Straw Food Company are purposefully destroying McDonald's ice cream machines in order to increase sales of their very own Lord of the Rings ice cream. Conspiracy solved. So guys, hopefully you can see what happens when you put a little bit of work into solving these conspiracies. But anyways, thanks for watching. See you in the next conspiracy.
Just do the math, the numbers don't lie. Who wouldn't trust some Canadian guy, James Hill? James